Hey everybody! So for today's movie review, I'm going to talk about the new horror film Sinister. Sinister is a film by Scott Derrickson. You guys, he directed The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and he also did the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. Uh, but anyway, back to the whole Emily Rose thing. That film and this film, the Sinister movie here, I'm going to review for you today. Very, very creepy films. Definitely one of his more effectively creepy kind of movies. So Sinister, guys, it's about an author that moves into this new house, and his family doesn't really want to be there. Like the daughter wants to move back. The wife's kind of iffy about the whole place. And so Ethan Hawke plays this Ellison Oswald, I believe is his name, and he's like the successful horror and true crime author. And he's writing this new book, and it's like a nonfiction book. So one can only assume that most of his other books are probably fictional. But he's onto this huge story, and while he's working on the story, he finds this box of film canisters up in his attic of this new house that he moved into with his family. And he sees all these like family events go on in these, and the family events kind of turn dark, like it's whole, people playing in the yard, and then, like maybe the next second you see them hanged, or like maybe it's a pool party, and the next thing that they all drown in the pool or whatever. So a lot of these really dark things he's seeing on these tapes. And it's not really a spoiler because they actually show this in the trailer. Um, and all these canisters, he sees a weird looking symbol, and he sees this creature with like a white face and black eyes and like a little to no mouth at all. It's like black, and he has like long black hair. You can look him up on the Google. I think his name is Bagul. Um, and so he sees this Bagul guy, and he sees these symbols in all these film canisters, and he's able to find like information about him online. And he's also to get a hold of a professor who's kind of he kind of specializes in like demonology and symbology and all that kind of stuff. So he finds out this Bagul guy can he abducts your child, and he makes them perform a dark deed for him. He like shown in the trailer, like you see like all these murders happen, and I won't say who or what, but he does take a member of the family to perform all this and film them. Why he films them, I don't know, because one can only assume this Bagul guy has been around for decades, if not centuries. Um, so Ethan Hawke is starting to worry that his own family might be impacted by this Bagul guy, because he finds out like every time someone sees Bagul or reads about him or looks at his symbols or looks at his images, um, nothing but Bagul related things seem to happen. Um, so he starts to worry like his family's going to be killed off, or one of them's going to be possessed by this Bagul guy. So he gets help, and the more he finds out about this guy, he wants to move back to his old place. So they eventually do, but only to find out that other things, without me spoiling the film, um, are going to inevitably happen to them, kind of a thing. Um, and it's almost like you'll see in this movie, like this Bagul guy kind of planned it all along, and like there's this huge connection between him moving back and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, guys, Sinister is very good. It has an excellent horror mood. You can definitely tell you're watching a good horror movie. The musical score is very effective in this, like especially on the scenes where you're watching these tapes with all these dark events happen. Great musical score, very effective. Um, Definitely one of the better horror movie scores I've seen in a long time. The found footage elements really work here. You really get the impression that there's someone who doesn't really know a lot about working a camera and everything was filming those found footage scenes. This Bagul guy, who's the villain of the movie, like I said, he's kind of that dark figure that you see throughout the movie. Very effective horror film. Definitely one of the better horror villains I've seen in a long time. I love the story flow in this. I literally never felt bored in this movie. Like every second of the film lit up on screen, and it was just so good. Um, and like I said, just never got boring. Really effective scares. I mean, I think this is the first time where, because I have a brother that has, um, he can watch a horror film. He's like, whatever. It was good. It was bad. This time around, he was almost too freaked out by it, and that's saying a lot, because I think this is the first time I've seen him in a long time where I really got the impression like he was really freaked out by what he saw on screen in certain scenes here. So very effective scares in this, especially for those who think they can handle horror films very well. I think this might redefine the way they view that kind of stuff. Ethan Hawke's performance was excellent in this. It was just um, very very good. I mean, like he was a believable author. Like he really wanted to succeed, and he really felt like he was on to something new and big, only to suffer from his own stupidity, I guess. Um, as far as negatives go, you guys, there are a lot of jump scares and a lot of things in this film, like brutal images that are really not going to be for everybody. I can handle a really dark horror movie, so it is fine for someone like me or someone who's big into horror movies. But like if you're just like a casual on the street kind of person that only watches like a horror film maybe like once or twice a year, some of these images are really going to come as a surprise to you just because they're so dark. And even to today's standards, when you say dark, and this film was dark, that's pretty dark. Just because like there's just so many dark images nowadays and so much blood and gore in movies. So there's a lot of images in here that are really dark to view. So just be warned when you see this kind of movie. There's a lot of dark things in this movie that you might have not wanted to see. Um, the film occasionally cheats itself, especially there's a cheat at the end that I really didn't care for. I kind of got what they were going for, but it's like, oh really? Come on, was he able to get that again? Kind of thing. I'm not going to say what it is, but when you see the film, you'll kind of know what I mean by like a cheat near the end. Um, let's see here. The replay value on this, as far as just like hey, let's watch down, let's sit down and watch a movie again. This film, I think, unfortunately, is going to fall flat because um, it is just so dark and scary. It's great for Halloween, like this time of year and everything, but like, like Christmas time, and you just like, sit down watching a good movie with your family. This isn't going to be that kind of movie. This is one of those kind of movies where you'll probably watch it once or twice and never watch it again. But very good film. I really, really enjoyed this film, you guys. Don't let those negativities scare you away from this. It's a very good movie. So 8.5 out of 10 for me. I thought it was very good, you guys. Like I said, just really creepy. I love the music in this. It was just so effective and so you definitely can tell you were watching a horror film that really worked. And like I said, I was so sucked into this movie this entire time. I never felt bored. Um, so great film, you guys. Make sure you check it out. And Scott Derrickson, he's done a lot of really creepy stuff like Emily Rose, like I said. The man knows how to make a good scary scene. That definitely shows off in this movie. So, Sinister, guys, make sure you go see it. It's a very good spook fest.